Good afternoon. Today we are dealing with our fourth module, which we have already studied in class. But since many of you were out of our place due to your project works and all, I'm just giving a explanation of the PowerPoint presentation regarding this module 4. This module 4 deals with soil and soil degradation and also desertification. So in this video, we will be dealing with soil and soil degradation. So let's see the importance of the soil. As the key resource in a crop production, it supports the physical, chemical and biological processes. And it also regulates the flows such as infiltration, root zone storage, deep percolation and runoff. We know that soil is playing a very important role because the water infiltrates to inside the ground through this soil, and it also helps in the root zone storage of the plants, and it helps in deep percolation, and the runoff is also caused by the soil which is present. Depending upon the soil, the runoff characteristics is affected. And then, what are the importance of a soil? It acts as a buffer between inputs and the environment. It functions as a degrader or immobilizer of agricultural chemical, waste or other pollutants. It also sequesters carbon from the atmosphere. So, what are the important soil attributes? Okay, the soil attributes include the texture of the soil, the structure of the soil, the bulk density and its rooting depth, its permeability and the water storage capacity, the carbon content of the soil, the organic matter and the biological activity which are happening in the soil, the pH of the soil, the electrical conductivity of the soil. So these are the important attributes which help us to identify whether a particular type of soil could be used for particular purpose, whether it could be used for the construction purpose, whether the soil has got good bearing capacity to hold the building. So all these factors will depend upon these attributes. So the main functions of the soil, it provides the physical, chemical and biological process for the growth of plants that we are all aware of, and it helps to store, regulate and partition water flow through the environment, and to buffer environmental changes by decomposing organic waste, nitrate, pesticides and other substances that could become pollutants. Now let's move on to the soil quality. It is defined as the capacity of the soil to function or the fitness of the soil for use. It can be maintained through use of appropriate crop production technologies and resource management system. Two concepts of measuring soil quality is, one is the more traditional one and one is the recent one. The traditional one focus on the inherent soil properties and the recent one focus on the dynamic properties of the soil. So because of this inappropriate farming practices, it leads to soil degradation, soil erosion, loss of organic matter, soil compaction, acidification, loss of nitrates, phosphates and pesticides, accumulation of salt and trace elements, increased runoff of fertilizers and pesticides to water system. Now let's see what is soil degradation. Soil degradation has been defined as a process that leads to decline in the fertility or future productive capacity of the soil as a result of human activity. So basically, this soil degradation is a global problem. It affects a large number of people in more than 100 countries, covering 33% of the overall world. Every day, for more than 20 years, in arid and semi-arid region, 2,000 hectare irrigated land is being degraded by salt across 75 countries. Today, 62 million hectares, an area equals to the size of France of world's irrigated land, is affected by soil degradation, which was 45 million in the early 90s. It has prompted a stream of national and international policy responders. Land degradation negatively affects a number of important problems of global concern directly. So in the last 20 to 30 years, 25% of the land has degraded and the trends still continuous. And approximately 340 million people are affected by this, and the economic loss is very huge. Now let's move on to the types of soil degradation. The first one is water erosion. That is, water erosion means the soil particles are detached either by splash erosion or by the effect of running water. You know that splash erosion, right? Splash erosion means മഴത്തുള്ളി, and അതിൻ്റെ എത്രമാത്രം എഫക്റ്റ്, അതിൻ്റെ ആ ഒരു ഇൻറ്റൻസിറ്റി വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് അത് സംഭവിക്കുന്നത്. Then the water erosion is influenced by 4 factors. One is rainfall, the soil type, the slope gradient, the soil use or vegetation cover. So this is water erosion. So water erosion is affected by rainfall. That means the intensity of the rainfall and the type of the soil, whether it is a small, like fine, or it's of big size, or depending upon its bearing capacity, its flowing capacity, then slope gradient of the place, and also the vegetative cover. The soil type is the next another factor. The soil erodibility is an estimate of the ability of soil to resist erosion based on the physical characteristics of each type of soil. In general, soils with faster infiltration rates, higher levels of organic matter, and improved soil structure have a greater resistance to erosion. Sandy loam and loam textured soil tend to be less erodible than silt, very fine sand, and certain clay textured soil. Slope gradient. Naturally, the steeper the slope of the field, the greater the amount of soil loss from erosion by water. Soil erosion by water also increases as the slope length increases due to the greater accumulation of runoff. Soil use. Plant and residue cover protects the soil from raindrop impact and splash, and it tends to slow down the movement of surface runoff and allows excess surface water to infiltrate. Erodibility. Next is wind erosion. The first one we have studied is by water erosion. Next is wind erosion. It is affected by the erodibility of the soil. The wind can suspend very fine particles and then transport it over greater distance. Fine and medium-sized particles can be lifted and deposited, while coarse particles can be blown along the surface. Next is, this wind erosion will depend upon the soil surface roughness. Soil surface that are not rough or rigid offer little resistance to wind. However, over time, the ridges can be filled in and the roughness broken down by abrasion to produce a smoother surface which is susceptible to the wind. So, the soil surface which are not rough or ridged, such type of soil will easily get eroded by the wind. Climate. The speed and duration of the wind has a direct connection to the extent of soil erosion. Soil moisture level can be very low at the surface during periods of drought, thus releasing the particles for transport by wind. So we know this climate. Okay, the climate is a very important factor, and we also know that if the speed and the duration of wind has direct relationship with this soil erosion. So especially when during the period of drought, the soil moisture level will be very low, and thus it will release the particles to be carried away by the wind. Next is vegetative cover. So if there is permanent vegetation cover, then there won't be extensive erosion. The lack of permanent vegetation cover in certain localities has resulted in excessive erosion by the wind. Loose, dry, bare soil, they are more susceptible to be eroded by wind. The most effective vegetative cover for protection should include an adequate network of living windbreaks combined with good tillage, residue management, and crop selection. So, a proper crop selection pattern and residue management, and by tillage, it will be easier for us to control this wind erosion. Then, now let's move on to the human causes of erosion. Poor agricultural practices such as ploughing the soil to support cultivated plants or ploughing soil in areas where rainfall is insufficient to support continuous plant growth is one of the reasons. That is, exposing soil on slopes, removal of forest vegetation, overgrazing, altering the characteristics of streams which cause bank erosion, causing increased peak water discharges. Okay, Then reducing evapotranspiration losses as a consequence of vegetation removal. So these are all human causes of erosion. Poor agricultural practices, then exposing the soil on the slope, removal of the forest vegetation, overgrazing by cattle, then altering the characteristics of streams which cause bank erosion and causing increased peak water discharge. That means increased erosion power due to change in hydrological regimes by such means as altering the efficiency of channels, then reducing evapotranspiration losses as a consequence of vegetation removal. Then how we can control the erosion, the control of erosion, that is prevention of soil detachment by use of cover materials such as plants. Okay. Crop production techniques should be adopted which will improve the soil characteristics and promote the growth plan and hence also the surface cover. Ploughing to destroy rills and contour planting to create small dams across a field also retard and inbound water flow. Then filling some gullies with mechanical equipment or conversion into protected or grassed waterway will also help in erosion control. Terracing of slopes to reduce rates of runoff is another aspect. Then prevention of erosion in the first place by careful selection of land use practices. If you are selecting a proper land use practice, it can prevent erosion. Then conservation tillage methods, armoring of channels with rocks, tire, concrete and timber to prevent bank erosion, the use of windbreaks to modify wind action, ploughing into cloud size too big to be eroded or ploughing into ridges. These are the main thing. Then now let's see what are the causes for this soil degradation. The one thing for this soil degradation is nutrient disorder. Most of the Indian soils are deficient in nutrients and organic matter. The organic matter is rapidly decomposed and leached or eroded away by the heavy rains. Then waterlogging. Soil becomes waterlogged when the water balance of an area is disturbed because of excess recharge. Salinity. Salinity directly affects the productivity by making the soil unsuitable for crop growth. Indirectly, it lowers productivity through its adverse effect on the availability of nutrients. The adverse effect of alkalinity on the availability of nutrients is due to deflocculating the effect of sodium ions. Then compacting, sealing and crusting. Soil compaction decrease in space between soil particles due to externally or internally applied load. Soil sealing is the covering of the ground by an impassable material is one of the main cause of soil degradation. Then soil crusting is a thin layer of dense and tough material. Soil crusting is considerably more compacted and packed than the underlying material. Then increased runoff, decrease infiltration of water. Then shifting or jung cultivation. It is a type of cultivation practiced mainly in northeastern states of India. It is a type of slash and burn method of cultivation. After repairing the crops, the land is slashed and burned. The next cultivation will be in another plot and the burned land will let uncultivated for a period of time. In the early periods, the gap between two cultivation in the land was 10 to 20 years. Due to population increased and availability of land is reduced, the gap decreased to 2 to 3 years. This causes major deforestation, environmental pollution, loss of habitat for wild animals, etc. The burning of forests results in soil erosion and gradual degradation of soil. Then let's move on to the physical factors. These are several physical factors contributing to soil degradation, distinguished by the manner in which they change the natural composition and structure of soil. It includes rainfall, surface runoff, flood, wind erosion, tillage and mass movement results in the loss of fertile topsoil, thereby declining the soil quality. Then there are biological factors which refers to human and plant activities that tend to reduce the quality of soil. Some bacteria and fungi overgrowth in an area can highly impact the microbial activity of the soil through biochemical reactions which reduce crop yield and suitability of soil productivity capacity. Then human activities such as poor farming practices may also deplete the soil nutrients, thus diminishing the soil fertility. The biological factors affects mainly lessens the microbial activity of the soil. Now moving on to these chemical factors. The reduction of soil nutrients because of alkalinity or acidity or waterlogging are all categorized under the chemical components of soil degradation. In the broadest sense, it comprises alteration in the soil's chemical property that determine the nutrient availability. It is mainly caused by salt buildup and leaching of nutrients, which corrupt the quality of soil by creating undesirable changes in the essential soil chemical ingredients. Deforestation. Deforestation causes soil degradation on account of exposing soil minerals by removing trees and crop covers. Vegetation cover primarily promote the binding of soil together and soil formation. When it is removed, it considerably affects the capabilities of the soil such as aeration, water holding capacity and biological activity. Misuse or excess use of fertilizers. The excessive use and the misuse of pesticides and chemical fertilizers kill organisms that assist in binding the soil together. Most agricultural practices involving the use of fertilizers and pesticides often entail misuse or excessive application, thereby contributing to the killing of soils, beneficial bacteria and other microorganisms that help in soil formation. Next is industrial and mining activities. So soil is chiefly, we know that it is polluted by industrial and mining activity. As an example, mining destroys crop cover and releases a myriad of toxic chemicals such as mercury into the soil, thereby poisoning it and rendering it unproductive for any other purpose. Industrial activities, on the other hand, releases toxic effluents and material waste into the atmosphere, land, rivers and groundwater that eventually pollute the soil, and as such it impacts on soil quality. Altogether, industrial and mining activities degrade the soil's physical, chemical and biological properties. The other factor is improper cultivation practices, which we have discussed. There are certain agricultural practices that are environmentally unsuitable, and at the same time they are the single biggest contributor to the worldwide increase in soil quality decline. The tillage on agricultural land is one of the main factors since it breaks up soil into finer particles, which increases the erosion rates. Urbanization has a major implication on the soil degradation process. It denudates the soil vegetation cover, it compacts the soil during construction, and it also alters the drainage pattern. It covers the soil in an impermeable layer of concrete that amplifies the amount of surface runoff, which results in more erosion of the topsoil. Most of the runoff and sediments from urban areas are extremely polluted with oil, fuel and other chemicals. Increased runoff from urban areas also causes a huge disturbance to adjacent watersheds by changing the rate and volume of water which flows through them and improvising them with chemically polluted sediment deposit. Next is overgrazing. The rates of soil erosion and the loss of soil nutrient as well as topsoils are highly contributed by overgrazing. Overgrazing destroys surface crop cover and break down soil particles, increasing the rate of soil erosion. As a result, soil quality and agricultural productivity is greatly affected. Another one is desertification. Desertification is defined as a process of land degradation in arid, semi-arid and subhumid areas due to various factors including climatic variation and human activities. Desertification results in persistent degradation of dry land and fragile ecosystem due to man-made activities and variation in climate. Okay. So desertification we will be dealing it once again because it's another topic dealing with this module. Then let's see the consequence of soil erosion. Fertility of the topsoil will be lost. Nutrient content will decline as they are washed away by erosion. Then underground water level will be reduced. Loss of vegetation and habitat. Next is drought and flood become frequent. Then rivers get dried off. Adversely affect the economy and culture. And the natural hideouts are formed when gully erosion occurs. Then the main reason for the decline of soil fertility are frequent cropping, unscientific rotation of crops, extensive and excessive use of chemical fertilizers, too much use of chemical pesticides, Land should be left uncultivated for a period of time and let to retain its fertility. The cropping after cropping will leave the land unfertile. So after one cultivation, it should leave it as such for some period of time. Then only they should move on for cultivation. Then what are the impacts of soil degradation? The effect of soil degradation in food production system combines with the land management techniques, use of fertilizers, irrigation and machinery use. Then degradation makes soil irresponsive to inputs, reduce alternative use of land, failure of irrigation scheme and reduce water use efficiency. Impact of soil degradation. Water shortage, health disorders, then see and forced migration, so they will move to new place, that conflict will arise, then yield reduction will be there, then lowering the income. So these dust and storm, these are all the impact of soil degradation. So suitable soil management practices or principles could be adopted. That is, first, the 5 basic principles include the maintain soil livestock, organic matter is food for the soil microbes, cover the soil. You may lose soil nutrients due to erosion and temperature extremes if it's not covered properly. Minimum or no tillage, that it speed up the organic matter decomposition, and by sustainable soil management principles. Maintain nitrogen in the soil. That means a higher nitrogen level in the soil means higher decomposition of organic matters. Then the degradation should be less than its addition to maintain the soil fertility. The soil fertility should be in acceptable level before doing agriculture. So over management should not be there. Then coming to the soil conservation. Soil conservation is a prevention of soil loss from erosion or reduced fertility caused by overusage, acidification, salinization or other chemical soil contamination. So what are the methods for soil conservation? Terrace farming is one of the methods. This method of farming uses steps called andins that are built into the sides of the mountain or hill. On each andin, various crops are planted, and when it rains, instead of washing away all the nutrients in the soil, the nutrients are carried down to the next level. So additionally, these steps prevent free-flowing water that would take plant with it and destroy all of the crops on the hillside. See, this is. Then, contour farming is the farming practice of plowing across a slope, following its elevation contour lines. The rows form slow water running off during rainstorm to prevent soil erosion and allow the water time to settle in the soil. In contour plowing, the ruts made by the plow run perpendicular rather than parallel to the slopes, generally resulting in furrows that curve around the land and are level. See. Crop rotation is the practice of growing a series of dissimilar types of crops in the same area in sequential season. A traditional element of crop rotation is the replenishment of nitrogen through the use of green manure in sequence with cereals and other crops. Crop rotation also mitigates the buildup of pathogens and pests that often occur when one species is continuously cropped, and can also improve the soil structure and fertility by alternating deep-rooted and shallow-rooted plants. It's crop rotation. Then by means of shelter belt. It is a plantation usually made up of one or more rows of trees or shrubs planted in such a manner as to provide shelter from the wind and to protect soil from erosion. They are commonly planted around the edges of fields or farms. If designed properly, windbreaks around a home can reduce the cost of heating and cooling and save energy. Windbreaks are also planted to help keep snow from drifting onto roadways and even yards. Other benefits include providing habitat for wildlife, and in some regions, the trees are harvested for wood products. Strip cropping is another method of farming used when a slope is too steep or too long, or when other type of farming may not prevent soil erosion. Stridy sound crops such as hay, wheat, or other small grains with strips of row crops such as corn, soya beans, cotton, or sugar beets are done in this manner. Then by multiple cropping is the practice of growing two or more crops in the same space during a single growing season in which a second crop is planted after the first has been harvested. See, this multiple. And the previous university questions from these portions include this. So explain soil degradation, what are the different types of soil degradation, what are the different types of water erosion, what are different types of wind erosion, explain the chemical deterioration of soil, explain physical deterioration of soil, discuss major causes of soil degradation, write short notes on consequence of soil erosion, write notes on soil conservation methods, write notes on effect of soil degradation, explain methods to prevent soil erosion, explain the preventive measure for soil degradation, explain the cause and effect of soil degradation. See, these all questions have come in the university questions. So kindly do this, go through this topic. So we have to deal with one more topic in this module, that is soil, desertification of soil. Since we have studied this portion in classroom, I have not gone more into the details of it. I have just helped you to move through the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, thank you.